So this is interesting because we talked about everything that is current, but now we're going to talk about what is coming. So humanity is moving somewhere towards greater light, greater unity, greater love. In this final segment, we ask, what is your role in this evolution? How do we take the truths that we've learned and translate them into action that elevates our world? So in this, just to point this out, is, the truths, the values that we've learned, that we've throughout experience have developed, the fruits of the spirits that we've grown. How can we take that into action, into a dynamic that can elevate our world, that can contribute to everybody?
Yeah, I feel like all of that which we just said points to this question. And for people that don't know about the vision of the era of light and life, maybe we can
Yes, please.
define
And
a
that's
little
something that I
bit.
wanted to. I wanted to tell you to give us a brief description, and I'll do my
Yeah,
best to create an imagery
yes.
that can suffice what you're going to be telling us.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder what everybody's unique vision of this is. So, rolling with mine
Yes.
currently, definitely is informed from many of the great world's religions and philosophies, and a large portion of it does come from the Urantia book, where it says that all planets come to the point of a deeper unification of humanity,
Mm-hmm.
and that can look like some things that some humans on the planet currently may find great disgust in. And yet, I invite you to keep your open minds and maybe even research it more, because the points in life that we find as immediate judgment, that's where I think most people need to dive deeper into the curiosity. Just as that judgment trigger comes up,
Mm-hmm.
run towards that fire to figure out what it is that you're judging. So, when it comes to the vision of light and life, a one world civilization, a one world unifying government administration, which doesn't reduce the importance of nations, yet integrates, just like teamwork, the value of people working together, unifying their unique skills to move forward on a project. So if we take that and scale it towards the whole of humanity, then we're inviting and giving permission to utilizing each of our intrinsically valuable personalities to move the planet into a more unified civilization. So when I also think of the era of light and life in terms of religiosity, and the more that we can as humanity understand religion as a unique personal experience and expression with our creator, then that will then in turn inform the global unification of government and industry, because then that then roots back to the value of values and integrity and living up as a personal triumph and bringing that into government and policy and the education system and the healthcare reform and all of these different arenas of life, unifying as art of living. It's really just scaling your personal skills into this global unification of the part and the whole. It really roots back to that, and who we are moving forward as a family, not only on this planet, yet looking beyond the planet and noticing that we're a part of this infinite eternality. I mean, that if
I
we
like
could get
those words, infinite eternality. It's
yeah, I
like
think that I
beyond.
think that But I think that would really help the elemental, like foundational level of who we are as a species to get out of our own way and work together towards a global greater peace. And, I was reading the other day about, as you may know, I'm very interested in getting into the United Nations Reformation right now. I'm getting ready to go to India. And I've been interested in the UN since I was a little girl and
I
wondering
was.
where
Were you in the Mall UN when you were a kid?
I was in several things like that. I wasn't specifically in that, but definitely into
On
like
my
even
high
high
school. On my high
school.
school.
Yeah.
That was my thing. But
Yeah.
continue, please. Go
Well,
ahead. Go ahead.
and on that note, when I work with people with vocation shifting towards greater humanity of service and altruistic living, that I am a great advocate for getting involved in local politics or global politics, whatever it is, because that's really and industry. And when those two, those are global issues, right?
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
if we can get to that level of bringing those higher consciousness values into those arenas, and they are, I'm noticing more people with spirituality and religious backgrounds getting into local government and making a difference, planting seeds, not
Definitely.
bringing their maybe in private conversations will they get into the religious and spiritual conversation, yet just them being in integrity with their values, making
Exactly. And bringing
local
those values, that's their religion. I mean, it's
right.
right there. Yeah. Definitely.
So definitely I am rooting for you to take an office anywhere, and even just having these conversations of not shying away from politics. You
It's funny
know,
that you. It's
N-
funny that you were saying that. Because not that it's crossed my mind. Well, when I was younger, I might have thought of maybe diplomacy. That's because that's why I wanted the UN. But I think that's for another conversation.
I
But
am.
yeah, let's hold
I
that
know
thought.
where you're going. Like I
We're
do.
going to talk about politics, not politics, but government and everything that's go with it. But you just gave me an idea. But
Yeah.
anyways, I mean, you were talking about a lot of stuff, and I took a lot of notes as you were describing this era of light and life. And just, I mean, first of all, I want to point out that as you were speaking, I want our audience to really vision that this is not going to happen in the short term. It's not going to happen in a couple of years. I mean, and although we're going through a stage of a lot of transformation and a lot of enlightening, and there's darkness everywhere and whatnot, it takes a lot of time. It takes, we have to be
Oh,
really more evolved. Really, I mean,
yeah.
because you were saying something that is really, as I was hearing you, you were integrating industry, you were integrating education. I mean, you were integrating, and it's not just about religion, it's not just about government, and I mean, you integrated everything, and everything has to be integrated. So
It
just
totally
think
does.
about it, right? We're
Yeah.
not integrated right now.
Well,
So
and that's a really good point for you to bring up of the patience that it
yeah,
takes in
patience.
persevering and n- um allowing yourself to really look at where we've come to see how far we can go. And
Yeah.
to not be just because you're alive only for 80 years on this planet, don't take this time as what's happening, right?
You're
Really,
part of the whole story. Exactly.
that's the huge you have to look at all 3 stages to see and comfort, like, it gives me comfort. Like, okay, I'm just here right now, and how exciting it is to be here, and let's do something about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And I one of the things that you also pointed out, and I really wanted to mention, and because this is one of the big conflicts right now, and you were saying, right now there's the big debate is about nationalism, and you said the words that you said, it's to integrate nations. It's not to strip them of their identity. But it's really, I think every nation contributes when it's really contributing, not just pouring out. When a nation contributes and each nation contributes their best, we can be a global community. It's not overpowering one over the other. It's not, and that's why we were talking about the balance. And that's why I like some of the politicians that bring balance, that are not just, oh, everything's nice and dandy and we'll just color this and we'll. No, we have to take action, because I've learned in my life, when I take action on me, when I'm accountable for myself, when I really, cut the bullshit with myself, is really when I grow. And really, we need people that push us in that sense. So even if it hurts, even if it's not the most beautiful thing to do, you're sacrificing, and you're doing what it has to be done today in order to have the better future tomorrow. So I believe in that, and I like that you mentioned this, to integrate nations, because this is what we're declaring, or what we're stating. It's not stripping their identity. It's really building on that cultural, social, and moral integrities that these nations can bring to the rest of the
Yes.
world.
Yes. Sharing resources, holding each other accountable, holding nations accountable, holding the leaders of their nations accountable. This whole, I mean, there are some good things about lobbyists, yet the majority is, and under my understanding, is to get away with stuff.
Yeah,
Like
it's
the
pushing. You're pushing. We were talking about how you're giving, to maybe nefarious companies the money, which is power, which ends up in these places, which in turns makes your policies, and in turn affects your life. So, as
conscious
we see,
consumerism.
and it's everything is integrated. I mean, you can't run away from it.
Integrated.
You can't assume or think that if you hit over here, it's not going to slap you over here. It is.
And good for it.
Yeah,
Because then
exactly.
it'll just make us solution find more and teamwork more, and yeah.
Yeah, and you were saying, I mean, by the time this podcast airs, I mean, I'm going to make this comment. I mean, we're recording this, and just a couple of days ago, last Saturday, the 15th of November, there was a huge uprising in Mexico City because of this. Because people are, one of the reasons I'm out of Mexico is because the insecurity. I'm a consequence of a lot of what Generation C is, and I applaud that, because they're holding the politicians accountable. And what I like about them is that it's not left or right, it's accountability. And shoot, and I look at we're Generation X. It's like, shoot, we're one letter short to being that. But I think this is, although it is a fight, I don't think it's their fight. But I'll be on the sidelines, stoking or soaking the fire with a bellow of my experience and all my passion, so that anybody with just causes can succeed in overcoming and overpowering these nefarious governments and these nefarious situations that we're living in.
Yeah.
So that's maybe my political stance. If later on, if we
I
ever do
love that.
something.
I would love to have a greater conversation around the ideals of the era of light and life and what
Hmm.
we can do now. And all the things that we've been saying today and in many of your podcasts are practical things that we can bring this into our existence, even if it's just planting the seeds of, and knowing that we're going to get there and holding that optimism. I think shifting from a pessimistic to optimistic view is yet another one of those art of living skills
Hmm.
that can add to the quality, vitality of your existence.
I'm always happy that when we have these conversations, I mean, there's so many things that come out and that, expand into, different, details of what we're talking about. And I agree with you. I think we have to do another show and go deeper into these topics, because it's people like how a religious, because this is the whole topic that we're talking about, reframing religion, how religious living is really practical. It's not just going and praying. It's part, praying is part, yes, but action is also part. So as we unraveled here, or we discussed here, it's really very practical. It's really based on your values, on what you do in everyday life, how, the truth, beauty, and goodness that you give to others. So once we see that things can be practical, and that our existence, our inactions, and our faith really are our unique religion, then we can really eventually, like you're saying, we can form the community. We have altruistic living, and move. Maybe if we're not going to be in our lifetime to get to the era of light of life, but maybe our names are going to be in the history of this planet and saying, okay, this is the little grain of a sand that they contributed with, and that is, I think,
Big.
enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's huge. Imagine, right?
Yes.
So, anyways, we're out of time,
Yes.
unfortunately, and
Time flies when you're having fun.
time
It's
flies
always
when you're
fun.
having fun. So, any closing remarks? Anything you want to say before we leave?
Well, if it's okay, I would like to give a little plug to, or
Yes,
maybe a
please, please.
shout out to all those who have experienced what we're talking about and are shifting from a self-centered to an other-centered lifestyle and altruistic living, and socializing your personal relationship with God, being in community with others who are actualizing, doing something for humanity
Hmm.
with their spiritual alignment. And so next summer, if you're curious about all things Urantia book, even for new people, we are having our international conference in California. And
Nice.
the theme is emergence, personal to planetary. And so
Okay.
each of the days will move from your personal relationship with the cosmos and your creator to how it then blooms in community. And then our final day is around the era of light and life, and all of the actions, the secondary works projects is what we call pe- things, projects, books, retreat centers, facilitators, content creators like you, Santiago, and Center for Unity, and all of these secondary works that have emerged from students diving into the Urantia book or whatever spiritual book or philosophy, or
It's
even
all
if
inclusive, non-exclusive.
right, and even if you're agnostic that holds high values and you're in with our
Everybody's
cosmic
welcome.
family and you're doing something. So if you need more motivation, inspiration, or just want to come socialize your spirituality in California, we welcome you.
And actually, do you have a like a save the date? Do you have something that so
We
we can
do.
share?
It's a July 12th through 16th, and I'll get something for you to
We'll
put
put
on
it
your.
there. So be sure, guys, to check the information so you can find out more. And I mean, and we're gonna put everything from April on, so
Yeah,
you're gonna be
of
able to
course.
be in
I have
contact.
plenty of service opportunities if you
Yes,
want to come join my
yes,
team.
that is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah,
Well, April Helen, thank you. It's
my
been a
pleasure.
pleasure as always. And thank each and every one of you. It's really inspiring to have these conversations and to include you, even if you're not present physically with us. But we know that you're in spirit, and it really uplifts us when you participate. So just remember if you to subscribe. Remember to set the reminder so you know we're when we're going to come up. And if you like this, share, talk to somebody. Maybe they'll find something that really resonates in their hearts. And just remember, I'm Santiago Kneeland. This is the Divine Within, the invisible connection with God. Take care and carpe diem. On the Divine Within podcast, we'll share real conversations to help you find a personal connection with God. My goal is to support your faith, growth, and journey toward discovering the divine within yourself. Join us to deepen your faith and spiritual journey.